Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an edition of How Did This Get Booked? I, of course, am your host, Jake Manning, and I'm a veteran of the professional wrestling business for over a decade, and I've held every single job except selling popcorn. I'm joined, as always, by my friend, my sounding board, my wind beneath my wings. I've used that one before many a times. The guy who I complain about other people's booking of me and other promotions, Zane Riley.
Like I'm going to fly back in and help you out. I got this. Here comes the pencil and the eraser, motherfuckers. Hey, Jake.
You doing good?
I'm here. Right. Living the dream.
Well, you know who else is here? Is a returning guest.
A champagne popper.
Exactly.
Right.
Very excited to have him here. We are joined by comedian Carlos Valencia. Carlos, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Thank you for having me back.
We've been thinking when we could have you back because you are one of our most cherished guests.
Oh, thank you.
And we're like, we need.
Well, you're a time traveler, so we had to do that.
Yeah. So.
If you recall, he was in the crowd of the pay-per-view. God damn it, guys! I've got to explain the joke to you. Fucking pieces of shit.
It was the Survivor Series 90 episode.
I don't remember. I thought it was a WCW thing.
No, it was a Survivor Series because 1, 2, 3 Kid was involved.
That's right. That looked like Doug, like a young Doug Stanton.
There we go.
Yes. Yep. So, we've been thinking for a while a special occasion to bring you back. Your name's been batted around, and this was the topic we decided today.
So we figured to go with the most racist way possible.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Do we know any Hispanic people, maybe people that speak the language? And we're like, well, maybe there's Carlos.
I was thinking that too. I was like, I gotta be, because there's other Hispanic comics here in Charlotte, but none of them I know speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Andy Perez speaks fluent Spanish.
Yeah, that's got to be like a work name or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. He's just doing it so he can get like affirmative action jobs and shit.
Went to college off that name.
Yeah, that's right.
Just so the Comedy Zone will book him more. And like, see, we're diverse. We booked this guy, Andy Perez. Who's the whitest Mexican we know. But before we get there, I just want to give a big shout out because I've put this at the front of the show.
Oh, you're doing that now?
Yeah, I want to do it right now. Can we do it right now? Because the people writing reviews have been killing it recently. We've actually got 2 brand new reviews on iTunes.
Okay.
The last notable leader in the iTunes board was Leroy Mac 61. He's now the old. And in with the new, we have Brian Selebnik.
Okay.
Or Klebnik. I'm not exactly sure, but nice man. He's already emailed me his shirt size and everything like that, so I'm going to take care of him soon as I go back to the office. But he is not the leader on iTunes right now. Nick and Ali or Ali, Ali
with an I or Muhammad Ali?
It's spelled like Ali, so it might be, Nick Alexander and Muhammad Ali. That might be who it is.
I hope so.
So they are the leading of the iTunes right now. And on Stitcher, Sponge Cake 7 is still at the top of the board. So you guys get your names. Like I said, if you want to get your name set on the podcast, just leave a review. But most importantly, you get a free T-shirt by leaving a review on Stitcher or iTunes. So.
Is it like a random T-shirt like that you don't wear anymore? Or
yeah.
One
of our used...
it's like an old Joey Ryan T-shirt just laying around, or an old James Bond T-shirt I have.
You just don't want to drive to the Goodwill.
Just don't want to do the laundry. We're just going to send you a used, dirty shirt.
Yeah.
It's like the Mitch Hedberg. It's like, here, you throw this away.
Exactly. But no. So when you write a review, you will get a T-shirt, nondescript.
It's one of the How Did This Get Booked T-shirts.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we probably should put it out. Because people...
Carlos still didn't know. He's like, so what shirt is it?
No, because people have been doing a really good job of reviews. Like I said, I've made it a priority and put it at the top of the show. So because they've made it a priority to write reviews, so I will do the same.
Sweet.
But we have a top priority that we have to discuss today, which is our topic of discussion.
Oh.
Which is...
It's a good topic to have.
Which is the Mexploitation
Did you create that word?
No, that's the genre.
I was going to say, I never heard that before.
No.
But it definitely fits the...
Yeah.
It is definitely in the genre of Mexploitation. And what we were discussing is Santo versus the Murderer of Television, I believe is how it is translated.
Yeah,
and me and Carlos have had a couple discussions about this particular movie already.
Well, it's like El Santo versus El Asesino de la TV. And, Asesino is more like assassin. But I guess that's too sophisticated a word to use if
For
it's
a
a
wrestling
exploitation.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, nah, we're just gonna call him murderer.
Kill.
It's just translated as the murderer.
Killer.
Yeah, it's like they hired Donald Trump to translate the title of it. They just send in murderers, not assassins.
The murderer and rapist of television.
Yeah,
I assure you, these deplorable
yeah. El
people
Santo versus El Bad Hombre.
Well, when
I saw this movie, I didn't like this movie. It wasn't a good movie.
Yeah, all those things. That's
All the Trumpisms.
Yes, that's your review on it.
This movie, I thought was huge.
Sad.
Yeah.
There's actually not a lot of reviews. That's 2 more reviews than I saw.
We've
for
created more reviews for this movie than there are reviews for this movie.
This movie came out in 1981. When I was telling Carlos about this movie and the El Santo movies, is basically like Santo was such a big star, they just just throw him in movies.
Yeah.
Like kind of like Elvis was. But of course, this is like in the 80s, and the Santo movie started back in the 50s. So this is like a much later version of Elvis movies.
It's like super fat Elvis.
Oh yeah,
period of El Santo.
But or like this is like I equate it to James Bond films, even though the main character James Bond was never casted by somebody else that we know of. There might have been multiple El Santos, but this is very much like the View to the Kill era of El Santo films.
Okay.
Like this is the one where there's a lot of cutaways of
Or
action.
just random musical interludes.
Oh, there is
Oh my god. Yeah.
so much mariachi.
It's gotta be something like whoever was El Santo's agent was also the singer's agent. They're like, all right, listen, you gotta put a full song in here, or you're not getting El Santo.
I've got 3 different music. I've got 3 bands here,
Yeah,
and I need all of
to
them.
promote these guys.
Well, funny enough, Santo's agent is actually in this movie.
Oh really?
He's the bald guy with the mustache.
That narrows it down. So would that have been like? Was that the chief of police?
He was the guy riding in the car with El Santo in the beginning.
Okay.
Oh, that's his agent.
Yeah, that's his actual agent
He's
and
like
longtime
the
friend.
Comic relief of the movie.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, and he is for a lot of his other films. In fact, in one review that I read about this particular movie, they noted that he was less abrasive in his performance in this film as opposed to earlier films.
Really?
So
He was abrasive in the other film.
I don't know what abrasive means.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
what that
in what
connotation-
context?
Yeah, what context that is. So I don't
Because
know.
he just seemed like a goofball in this thing.
He was the Dirty Harry of the other ones. Santo, I guess, was the.
He just chilled out for this one.
Yeah.
Like, I've been making a lot about me. This one's about you, Santo.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like a lot of, and I didn't understand why there was a lot of mariachi music in this until I come to find out that the lead singer was actually a main part of the plot. And I didn't figure that out until like the very end.
Okay.
This is what I'm most curious about. I mean, I guess we'll get to it, but is because there's no subtitles in this thing
At all.
No.
So what I'm most curious is what you guys thought what was going on versus what was actually going on.
Well, I can tell you the whole verbatim what I thought was going on. So I
Yeah,
took the
no,
whole
I know.
notes.
Yeah, I
If
can't
you-
wait.
If you want me to tell the story,
No, we don't have to skip ahead, but I'm like, I can't wait to hear
What
what
did
you guys
what
thought
did
was
you
going
guys
on.
that do not know Spanish think
Okay.
that happened
Yeah.
here?
well, like I said, we started off with mariachi music playing, and then of course Magnus, who is our villain, kidnaps a random person.
Just a lady?
By the way, how about that opening music? Is like this really jazzy, like romantic music filled in with like outer space sounds. It's like a Martian.
So
love
when
song.
this thing first started, I thought this was kind of ripped from like this was shown on TV. So the first half of the movie where that family's just sitting in the one room, I thought that was a fucking commercial.
How that it was like a VHS.
Yeah, like
recording.
they got a commercial break, and we're starting with this, and then right after this is going to be the actual movie. I thought it was a goddamn commercial till it went 10 minutes.
It kind of
It was like,
it
what
starts
the
with the
fuck?
kids are like. And by the way, those parents look way old.
To be
said it.
popping out kids.
Glad you said it. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Like they look like their grandparents, but the kids, when the kid, he's like, "Daddy, we want to watch television," and the dude turns on the mariachi for like 5 minutes or whatever, however long it is, and the kids are just. I'm pretty sure this is not what the kids wanted to watch.
This is not what we meant. We
Yeah,
we only
well,
have one channel.
Yeah, that's all. And yeah, but the couple, they cut to them, and they're like really digging the romance or whatever.
It's almost like me going over to my grandparents' house and then like, oh, you want to watch TV? We'll put on Lawrence Welk. How
Yeah,
about that?
exactly.
You know?
It's
Here's
like,
some Lonesome Dove on. Let's.
Yeah, and then Magnus.
pops on the screen,
Uh-huh.
shows him kidnapping a woman from a very wide shot.
From a very wide shot, yeah, that's right.
And that's when I was like, oh, wait, no, this is the movie?
Yeah.
What the fuck about? I'm going to have to
can't-
rewatch this
I
later.
can't believe it was 81 just because they were like, because the part of what Magnus like, I've taken over the airwaves. Don't even try to change the channel because I'm on every channel. And then dude actually had to get up to change the channel.
Well, there's only 4. It's pretty easy.
But in 81, we didn't have remote controls in 81?
I don't believe so.
No,
No.
When did remote controls come to be?
Well, I mean, popularized would probably be a few years later. At this time, there might have been remote controls where it's like on a string. There was those. My grandparents had that for like almost to the 90s.
Okay.
So.
That was when I was like, because like if I was watching that, I'd be like, man, I believe you. I'm not gonna get out of my chair. Sure, you're on every channel. You
Not gonna argue.
Be. I'm not gonna stand
Just
up
give
and
me
go
your
change
spiel.
it.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Get on with it.
Right.
You're kidnapping a girl. This is better than what I was watching. So go on.
Exactly. You know, by the way, very polite Magnus, by the way, he would always wait for the song to be over and then cut in. Like, he could have just easily cut in the middle of the songs, but no, he waited for the song to be over.
He understood.
And then he's like, all right, let me show you my crime.
He was a performer as well. He's like, I'm not going to cut anybody
That's
else's
right,
time. I'm
that's
going to get
right.
to my spot.
Yeah, he knows how it is. You know,
Yeah.
he had to go up through the ranks.
He was originally a guy that was on first, and then the supervillain swooped in and like canceled his part.
That's right.
And he was like, when I get to be that guy, I'm not going to cancel
That's right.
anybody. I'm going to let them all finish.
Yeah, that might have been from an earlier Santo film. So obviously it brings it all back around.
More guy's more brazen than he is in this one.
The villains got much more polite in the Santo films.
You know.
Like in the 70s, they were a real asshole and abrasive, apparently.
Abrasive, yeah.
In the 90s, you're not even sure who the bad guy is. They're kind of working together.
Yeah. Then they go to an office with, I think, a reporter, and there's probably some discussion about that we don't negotiate with terrorists. I'm assuming that's what the conversation's
You
about.
think it's like lower LA?
Yeah, and then you see Santo traveling with his manager, and then cut to them. I think wrestling.
Did we wrestle for 25 fucking minutes?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't know, and also too, I don't know if this is like match footage from the 50s or this is actually him in his 50s wrestling or what's going on.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It feels like there's like 20 minutes of movie here. Like the movie itself is only 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They just fill it with so much other stuff. Because
Yeah,
then there's
that's
like
true.
a completely
Wrestlers.
different wrestling match later.
That was they were on their way to a match, and there was some interference on the radio
Okay.
because of
That
Magnus'
was
shit. And I like because I guess he's fighting with a partner, and they referred I think it was Han Lee was the guy, and they called him an Oriental wrestler is how he was referred to by the by the announcer.
You mean the other Hispanic guy in the
Yeah,
match?
the Oriental wrestler. That's what they called him.
Well, they did have Japanese wrestlers come over and tour through Mexico, and that's where you had kind of like the talent exchange from luchadors heading over, and that's what the big culmination of the Jake hit was in '94. So, but he definitely looked Japanese. That one wrestler he was tagging her with. For a second there, I thought it was like the Grand Hamada for a second, but I don't think that was him.
And it was like a multiple fall match. Is that a popular thing?
Yeah, that's like the big thing in Mexico is a lot of 2 out of 3 falls.
Okay. Gotcha.
I thought it was just him trying to get all of his shit in. I thought it was just move.
Even still, El Santo.
I didn't. Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that there was an actual end to this match. I just thought it kept going until they were done showing the scene. Like, all right, next scene.
Which is how most lucha matches go. Like, if you're not utterly confused watching it, it's not true lucha.
It's not good.
Yeah, I'm just
so since this match was in the movie, we can probably safely say that the end was predetermined, right? Since it was just.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
This
It's for the movie.
Yeah.
double predetermined because they had to predetermine there was going to be a match.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Fun fact about wrestling in these movies is for a time in Mexico, lucha libre was banned on television
Really?
because they felt like the good guy, bad guy, like the evil wrestlers were going to corrupt the youth of Mexico.
Really?
So they didn't have any live wrestling matches or any matches whatsoever on TV. The only way that you could see wrestling in Mexico was either going to the matches or seeing it in Santo movies.
Oh, really?
Which I guess is why there's so much goddamn wrestling in this.
Exactly, because this is the only exposure that people had to specific wrestling, and as popular as lucha libre was in Mexico, that's why there was such a high demand for these movies. There's a way to sneak it in a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, because I didn't realize this when in the previous scene in the office with the cops and shit like that. There's report. What it is there's reporters that are talking to the chief of police and they're asking questions about this thing, and then one of the reporters is asking questions, and then the chief of police is like, hey, aren't you like a lounge singer? And I was like, yeah, you gotta make ends meet. And it's the same mariachi guy that was singing in the first part. Like, I didn't realize that.
I didn't realize it till the last 20 minutes in the movie when he helped out Santo at the end. Yeah, I didn't connect the two until that moment in time. And even it was written in this review that I read. It gave me some context of what this thing is. And I still didn't pick up on it until 20 minutes in. I'm like, oh, that's who that guy is. That's why we're spending so much goddamn time on this fucking mariachi guy.
Yeah, it's a good because
he's the real hero of this movie.
Exactly.
And it's coming up too. I mean, I think there's a few scenes after this where obviously he's the mariachi. Then he's a reporter, gets recognized by the guy as the mariachi, and then there's a scene where like they find out where the girl that's kidnapped is located, and dude they go into with another guy with a gun. And I'm like,
he tries to sneak into
like a reporter with a gun going into the thing,
the lair or whatever you'd call it.
But I guess later on you find out he's also a special agent. Like this guy has done it all, man. He's got mariachi, journalist, special agent. He's really the star.
He's the James Bond of Mexico.
That's exactly right.
Or the Jake Tapper of Mexico, that is.
Who's Jake Tapper?
He's the news guy.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
was he a special
he's
agent?
the Tom Brokaw of Mexico.
There you go.
Sorry. I was.
What a
Don't worry.
obscure goddamn reference.
I just saw a Twitter beef about him, and somebody talked shit about him on Twitter. So I was trying to be more contemporary. I should have just went Dan Rather.
Or Tom old, man. You gotta give me your old school guys.
All right.
He's the Sam Donaldson of
Mexico. If Sam Donaldson bursts into your establishment with a gun, give him whatever he wants.
No, you're not fucking around with Sam Donaldson.
If Hugh Downs comes in, definitely if Andy Rooney comes in with a gun.
Larry King, and I am coming for my woman.
I'm coming for goddamn revenge tonight. We get through the match. Santo takes a call on the CB.
Because why wouldn't he have one?
Why wouldn't he have one? We recover the kidnapped victim with the police and all that stuff. Santo is now on the case.
Yep. Because they're like, we're going to have to call in Santo for this shit.
Yeah.
Is this serious?
Did he not have, I thought Blue Demon was in these movies, too.
They teamed together. They also split off. Blue Demon had his own movies as well. Okay. So there was a split
Fuck me. All right. I always thought it was El Santo and Blue Demon.
No, not always. Sometimes. That was
I was waiting, most of them I was waiting for him to pop up.
Sometimes they make cameos in each other's films. Sometimes that's kind of a thing.
Okay.
It's kind of like the Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Like The Rock's splitting off from everybody now, and everybody else might make cameos.
Paul Walker's not doing the movies anymore.
Yeah.
He's too big time.
It's all a thing now. Then the female heroine almost gets kidnapped, and then Santo comes out of nowhere and punches two guys. And
What even planned? Just happened.
Out of nowhere.
And then we get to Magnus talking to his kidnapped victim.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
In that weird jail cell that had no door?
Yeah, and I'm assuming this is where he gives why he kidnapped her?
He says, I kidnapped... I was going to say, this is odd, but the whole fucking movie is odd. Yeah. But he's like, no, because he didn't ask for a ransom was the thing. He's like, no ransom. He just wanted to kidnap her, and then he's like, I just want to seduce you. I don't want to hurt you. I want your love, or something like that. But then, not too long after that, he's like, actually, your mother turned me into the cops years ago, and I just kidnapped you to punish her. Because she was going to, apparently she was going on a hunger strike, the kidnapped girl, and he's like, keep not eating. If you die, that's even worse revenge, or some shit like that. It's like... He went from I love to I'm just trying to seduce you to I don't give a fuck if you die.
Well then fuck you. She must turn him down.
Yeah.
And being the respectable man he was, you said no? Well, I'm not raping you, but goddammit, now you better die.
Now you better die. That's right. A gentleman.
Yeah, like a real fucking ladies' man.
Anything else that you can glean from that situation? Because we're a third of the way in.
Yeah, man, this is going to be the quickest one we've done.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm trying to think where we are. Let's see.
And this is where they start sneaking in, or that's the next? He kidnaps someone else, right?
The next thing I've got is Santo on the couch watching TV.
Okay. Then we go back. Is it the exact same living room as the people at the beginning of the movie were in? Because I feel at one point this entire movie is filmed in the same house.
I noticed that the set design was like the set dressing was terrible. It would be just like two pictures of all, like at one point they're in Santo's office and it's just a desk and like two pictures of horses and a TV. I was like, oh, that's it. That's the office.
That's all I got. That's all I need.
He's very minimalist, Santo. He doesn't like fucking decorations of any kind.
I feel like a big enough mansion could have just housed this entire thing. Like, all right, now this is the living room. All right, let's make an office in here right fast. All right, just walk over to that room. Okay. Well, here we're standing by this pool. He had that. When he kidnapped that first girl, they were like out by his pool area, and then he took her to an underground lair. Why would he take her there if you have this perfectly nice place? You could just keep her.
And there's a moment in time when he's in the underground lair where he's in this really nice decked out control room.
Yeah.
It looks like it's in the top floor of a building, and then all of a sudden, bam! I'm in a cave. Like, like there's moments of that.
It's all happened on one compound.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, this is why it's an exploitation film. It's low budget.
Yeah.
There's even discussion of one movie of El Santo's where like they're showing him driving a car, and it looks like he's just driving around a cul-de-sac.
Good.
Like, just in a big circle, like, the whole time. But he's supposed to be pretending like he's driving someplace, but they couldn't get a stretch of road. So they just had him driving a cul-de-sac.
That Zane and Caleb put over the world budget.
So you guys have seen, like, the early Santo movies?
I've listened to a podcast that discussed an earlier Santo film.
I'm just wondering if he always looked like he looks in this one. I mean, because, he's not cut, but a lot of wrestlers weren't necessarily cut back.
Was he always just like some like barrel-chested guy?
Yeah, I'm wondering if he was looked a little bit, leaner in earlier movies. Or was he always looking like that?
He looks a little feeble in this one. And actually, he dies 3 years after this movie is released.
Really?
So this is at the end of his life.
I didn't know that. What did he die from?
He was 66.
Oh, so he was 63 in this?
He was 63 in this.
Holy shit. No, wow. I had no idea.
I thought he was younger.
Yeah, I mean, the guy...
He's making movies since the 50s.
All right, well then maybe, a lot of that wrestling can be forgiven now.
Yeah, and he's the top star when he first started, so, I mean... Do the math. He was born in 1917, if I'm not mistaken.
Holy shit!
So,
this was like a real year.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about like actual wrestling moves. So how were the actual his?
I thought some of that shit was real cool.
Well, the fact that he's jumping off the top. Well, the thing where the guy had the other guy in the body scissors and he jumped off the top and landed on somebody. I saw Wahoo McDaniel do that onto somebody, and Wahoo is like at least 250.
Yeah.
Like, he's a big, solid dude, where I think Santo is probably in the lower 200s, maybe even 180 at this moment in time. But yeah, him jumping off of shit, like...
just now that I hear he's 63, I'm impressed by anything
he does.
Like that he was able to, like, walk, to the ring and
shit himself anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, because there's, like, some James Bond, like, later Roger Moore's, where you get concerned for his health. Like, that's part of the appeal of View to a Kill, is just him, like, slow motion having these fight sequences, and then, like, the hard cutaways to a much younger man doing all these stunts, and then the cut back of him in front of, a blue screen, hanging onto a blimp. I mean, and he is the same James Bond who got mad that they didn't book his personal hairdresser, that he threw toast at the producers.
Wow, really?
Yeah, like... He fascinates me.
He was like till early 80s, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah, he was like 86, 87-ish.
I was just, for whatever reason, actually saw this the other day. I was thinking about like, who was your first James Bond? And he was my first James Bond, because I was born in 80, so he's the one that I first ever saw and associated. When people were like, Sean Connery, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Roger Moore, that's the only guy I know.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan, what's up, everybody?
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan.
See, I was Timothy Dalton, so I was right in the middle.
See, I'm Remington Steele, I think. That's what I think about with Pierce Brosnan, Remington Steele.
But speaking of action movies, we're a third of the way into this action movie,
Still?
and we have seen our action star throw 2 punches, drive a car, and sit on the couch and watch TV. That's all we've seen.
But that's the job of Santo. That's what nobody else can bring to this investigation is a couple of punches and sitting on a couch. Like, I still am trying to figure out why this is a job for El Santo. Nobody else can take it.
Like the very capable police force that seem to be here.
Well, the multitasking police force apparently is,
Journalist.
The mariachi journalist secret agent.
It was hard for me to just keep track of who was imagine if it was hard for me, I imagine it was hard for you guys too. Just who's a journalist and who's a cop and who's where. Yeah.
No clue.
Because they have and then there's the cute girl that wants to be on the case, but
she was a deputy or some sort, right? There was like the blondish, hairish lady that he kidnapped first, and then there's another lady that he puts in the prison cell, right?
Right. That's
Is
the girl.
she a cop?
No, she's a reporter.
Oh, okay.
The one that got harassed in the motorcycle?
Yes.
Yeah, she was like talking to the chief editor or whatever. Like, I want to be on this case.
I thought that was the police station.
Yeah. See,
okay.
I mean, there's no way. Like, I was getting confused. I can't imagine you don't even know what the fuck you're saying. But yeah,
staring at it, smiling like I know what's up.
Case. And then they're like, no, you're a woman. Something like that. You can't be on this thing. And then she insists by being pretty. And then
but I'm so cute. He's like, fuck, I can't argue.
Yeah, you're right. And so then he tells the mariachi secret agent, like, all right, but you tell her, make sure she doesn't get in trouble.
Oh, so that would be why he was breaking into the cave later.
Yeah, kinda.
Okay.
Yeah, sort of.
Or trying to get in.
That was another what the fuck moment for me.
Well, and I was trying to figure out who the blondish woman's relationship was with El Santo, because he was talking to that reporter lady that wanted to be on the case, and all of a sudden that blondish lady came into the room and was like, get out of here, and she ran away. So these women like fighting over Santo. So I was like, is that Santo's wife?
The most forced part of the movie.
Yeah, I was just like, is like that Santo's wife, and she's just like, back off, tramp, or what's going on here?
Yeah,
like,
this is my weekend with El Santo.
Which is funny that he has basically like 2 women, and especially like the reporter was like hanging all over him. It's funny because in the earlier version of the El Santo movies, apparently he didn't have any love interest whatsoever, because El Santo is the saint, so he was like seen as a saint, celibate.
Wow.
And it wasn't until like later movies that he was recognized as someone who could have love interests. So
He well, I don't know if you guys caught up on this, but when Magnus interrupts, he shows a crime. Well, like the first time he shows a crime, and then he announces what his next crime is going to be.
Okay.
So he's
the worst criminal ever.
Yeah, basically.
He's skipping right to the end
just
speech.
Like, listen, I'm that badass. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and I'm still going to fucking do it.
You're not going to fucking do anything about it.
So the first time he announces he's going to rob a jewelry store.
Uh-huh.
So that's his next one. And I don't know if we got into that part yet, but he drops it. And there's all kinds of, like, I'm going to televise this live as I rob a jewelry store. There's all kinds of shots. Like, there's like a wide shot, there's shot inside, there's different angles. There was a lot of...
I've hired a camera crew to follow me in.
Great producer of robberies.
I guess so. And the jewelry store apparently had no clue. It was like, yeah, I guess, they want to film for whatever reason. Oh, no, we're getting robbed.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's what that was all about.
Oh, man, he told us. He called his shot. He's like the Babe Ruth out here.
Yeah, they put a camera right on the vault. I didn't realize that was what they were going on. So he announces that. So then, after he does that, he announces his next thing is that he's going to kidnap the blonde girl.
Okay.
So they put Santo, like, hey, you need to protect the blonde girl.
Because you're the strongest other masked wrestler we know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, because it's a job for El Santo.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
So because none of those other guys wore masks.
And even so, they still have like a drive-by shooting at.
That's what I wanted to get to next is like, why is Carlitos, Santo's manager, just doing a handstand randomly, and then a drive-by happens?
And yeah, and so did you say like, was this made for TV?
I think so. I think they were all, and I think they all ended up on TV eventually. I don't know if they got a theatrical run. This might be like the straight-to-TV version.
Okay.
I think some of them had theatrical runs, and then some of them just like, now we're just gonna put this shit on TV.
Because the editing sometimes is like it cuts, like even that they don't even show the whole headstand. It's just like they show a little bit and then boom, shooting.
They did a wrestling match somewhere like minute would just like cut to another clip and sound would fade out and back up.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the editing or just like I mean, if somebody just recorded it from their VHS player.
I think that's editing. I think that's just what they did.
No, that's
a good
it's
cut.
definitely editing. That's something that they even did back in the '60s on these things. So
Yeah, it was pretty terrible.
yeah,
But yeah, that dude's doing a headstand for whatever reason, and then there's a drive-by shooting, and there's like, I don't know, 5-6 shots, and then Santo's he's just like, yeah, I think that's all the bullets they have. 'Cause he just, 'cause he, like,
1, 2,
duck,
3, 4.
That's it. Because he just stays there. He's just like, oh, shots, they didn't kill us. He doesn't duck or like hide behind anything. Yeah, well, they missed me, so.
I'm Santo, bitch.
Yeah.
that's why you got to get Santo. He's not afraid of bullets.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's
that's
impenetrable.
right.
Either that or his reaction time is so slow, he's not going to move for him anyway.
Or so fast, you don't even see him moving.
That's right.
This is some
Yeah,
straight
that's
up
right.
Matrix shit.
So then after that, Santo decides to catch a show. That's what I have in my notes.
okay.
So he's watching. So it makes more sense now because like I'm under the impression in this moment in time that the blonde woman is Santo's wife, and he's just trying to fix his marriage amongst all of this
So he's
stuff.
going to take her on a date.
Take her on a date to a show, and he's just trying to hold his marriage together. That's all I'm
So
picking up
you
on.
turned this thing into a soap opera.
Yeah.
I did. I gave him a very, very not just a love interest, but a wife.
Is this the last music scene or the next to last one?
There's music throughout.
Because like it's this like so there was one where it was like they did these really awkward long close-ups of each girl that was there and like let her smile at the camera and then kind of stare off in the back of the camera for a good like 10 seconds each. It was the creepiest fucking shit.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to remember the sequence of things, but I think at that point he's protecting the blonde girl, and they go see a show.
Is this where the other blonde lady is singing?
No, the blonde lady's the same lady.
No, this was like a different, like big-haired blonde lady.
The lady
that looked almost white.
That's there's the lady that's kidnapped.
Yeah, not her.
And
This
then
is the lady that's singing at the...
Santo's wife.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're just going to
Gotcha.
call her
Okay.
Santo's wife.
Let's
Okay,
call her
I
Santo's
understood.
wife.
Okay, gotcha.
Let's call her Santo's wife.
Okay.
Make it easy.
Gotcha.
But
Now I'm caught up.
they do go to see the mariachi guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then like in the middle of the mariachi guys, there are these 3 guys dressed in all black walk into the thing and just sit down. I was like, well, that's not conspicuous at all. 3 guys from black
worst
from
that could happen.
head to toe just sit down on the table. I was like, well, that's not suspicious. Mm-hmm. But nothing happens.
Yeah, nothing happens.
It's a red herring.
I mean, we see the whole fucking mariachi song.
And then we
They
see
were just really excited to see.
the mariachi singer / journalist / police agent broke down on the side of the road, and Santo just comes over and talks to him.
Yeah, it doesn't help him out. Just,
Yeah,
what's up,
just-
man? All right. later.
Oh, yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, what it was.
That's even better.
Yeah, now that
Oh
you
man,
put
that
it
should have been the
way.
whole format of the fucking show.
It's at some point the mariachi guy goes to El Santo at the show, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I got some information that you might want for this
Yeah.
kidnapping thing." And I guess he tells him like, "Meet me at wherever they meet."
Meet me at my broke down car.
Yeah, my car is gonna break down in about 5 miles. Just drive up on your Volkswagen Bug.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, he drives up in a Bug, and he was like, "Hey, what's up?" Because I was like, "What the fuck is this? The Santo mobile?" But apparently,
No.
but mariachi does. I was like, "What the fuck? What's up with that car?" And he's like, "This is Carlitos' car. I drove it to, so nobody would know it was me." So that was one of his,
This is his undercover car.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't change his mask or take it off or
No,
anything.
not at all. But the Bug, that's enough to throw.
Yeah, no one will ever.
It's like that guy. That's just a dude in a Santo mask.
Yeah,
'Cause there's no way Santo would
Don't
drive
be
up.
caught dead in that car.
Yeah. So they meet because he's got information on the case, and I can't remember what the information on the case was. But yeah, it wasn't just he's randomly.
What's up, man?
His car randomly broke down. He's like, "Hey, Santo, what the fuck?"
Santo, you give me a jump?
Nah, man, gotta go. I'm on a hot case.
Nah, Carlitos doesn't leave jumper cables in his car. Just gotta keep moving.
He opens the front. Look, there's not even an engine in here, and he closes it back.
And and this was a thing I noted. Well, I mean, because the reporter lady, she's like, "Hey, I want to be reporting on this," and then the dude's like, "You're a woman, and she's pretty." And then the guy tells the other dude, the mariachi, he's like, "Hey, man, you gotta keep an eye on her." And he's like, "Well, you know, I don't mind for such a beautiful woman, you know, like he said that. And then again, when Santo gets put on the case to protect Santo with his wife, he's like, yeah, I don't mind, you know, taking care of such a beautiful woman. Like, they just keep mentioning how beautiful.
This is the only reason they're doing it.
Like, if she was ugly as fuck, there's no fucking way. No.
Magnus can have her. Fuck it.
It's the only quality that they care about.
It's like, for such a beautiful woman, I'd be honored to.
Hey, Mariachi, you want to go watch TV at my house on the couch? yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna watch Carlitos in a headstand for a while too.
She's about an 8 or a 9. Oh man, she's like about a 6. That bitch can die. Get her out.
Even though that female reporter like punched just as many bad guys as Santo has at this moment in time.
Yeah. So basically, the only person in this movie that is not a hero is Santo.
Yeah, Santo really hasn't done
shit. Like I said, the female reporter has beat up more guys than he has.
Yeah.
So, like, I'd keep her around, especially if you're a 63-year-old man trying to fight crime. Yeah. I need all the help I can get.
I need my Robin.
And so he takes the blonde woman, his wife, to his house, and then there's a shootout, and he doesn't even do shit at that. He just like, well, you didn't get shot.
Good, because I was here.
Yeah.
He's like, you're too beautiful to shoot.
The bullets wouldn't touch you. You're too...
But then eventually Santo's wife has her own performance.
Yeah. Okay, that's what.
And this is where it breaks out into the dance floor fights. Mm-hmm. Finally, our action star does a little bit of action.
But it was mariachi fighting.
Yeah.
And the three dudes in black show up again. Mm-hmm. But that's the one where. Like, some dude is going to the back and he's going to turn off the lights, but Carlitos is right there and he knocks him over the head. I don't know how.
Another jump cut. I don't know what was going on. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess one of them was supposed to. Oh, yeah, because the announcement was actually the Magnus didn't just announce that he was going to kidnap. He said, I'm going to kidnap her on this day and at that show. Mm-hmm. And nobody can stop me.
And people paid tickets to see this go down.
Yeah, and so I guess that was the plan. I guess one of the dudes was going to cut the lights, and then they were just going to take the...
What a mastermind.
Yeah.
Which makes far more sense because when they switch girls out of the car, it makes sense like, now that makes so much more sense now because like, that would be like, we'll just switch girls out. We'll get this girl that's competent to get kidnapped and we'll know how we can find her.
Right.
As opposed to this damsel in distress where this female reporter can handle herself, let her get kidnapped and she'll help lead us to Magnus.
That was,
because I was like, what, are you just going to have an extra outfit laying around?
Yeah,
like, how's, like...
No, they had, they knew it was coming. And they were, I guess, prepared for it.
So in theory, if he didn't call his own shot, he would have been successful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he got cocky, you know.
Yeah. They all do. They all do.
But, we go against Santo. What do we think about this dance floor fight? Like
all the backdrops, man. Everybody taking them hard.
And he's doing that old school body slam where it looks like you're setting up for a suplex, and he just grabs and dumps. Mm-hmm. You know, like... It's like a way you would give a body slam to somebody who's not going to post for you.
Yeah. Are they, well, I mean, I don't know if there's any way to know it, but it looks like it's a hard floor.
It was straight up.
Well, if you notice, they're hitting feet first as opposed to back first.
Is that the way to do
brace it a little bit? Like, that's kind of what you do sometimes, is you kind of land feet.
So there's strategies for, like, when you're getting dropped on a hard... surface? Okay. Yeah, because that looked pretty brutal.
Plant the feet before the back. Break those before you break anything else.
Well, and also, too, he's not slamming the back down flat like you would in a mat. He's still holding it. So that way, the first thing that hits are the feet. And by the time the feet hit, you just drop their back. So then the back's only falling about 6 or 8 inches as opposed to being picked up, turned, and slammed down flat. So
it was like all these fights... The Santo fights reminded me of, like, those, I think we might have talked about this at one point, where those videos, where those self-defense videos are absolute horseshit. It's like, when they hold you, and then you hold their hand, and you turn them around, and it's like it's that easy.
Grab the wrist, turn it over.
Yeah, and then, like, the other, like, no, you've been shot in the head by that point.
You're dead. Yeah. You can't do that last 2 moves because you didn't make it to the first one.
It's like, it's a good thing that the bad guys were like, he's 63 years old. Easy on him.
What if
He told me to put my hand here. I'll put my hand here.
What if all of this was fake and it was just something that Santos pays people to do, so he still feels like he's like useful? So he hired his buddy to be Magnus to go kidnap this lady to somebody he knows. Like, this is all just made up.
Yeah, listen, man, I need some gigs, bro.
Hey, man, times are hard.
Times are hard.
People aren't calling Santo like they were in the 50s, man.
And actually, Carlitos, from the beginning, he was very skeptical about the whole thing. He was like, hey, this is all a publicity stunt. Like, from the beginning, he was like, there's no real, this is all just publicity stunt. It took him a while. Maybe it's the shooting might have,
see, if this isn't a publicity stunt, then somebody's going to shoot me while I'm doing a headstand. Oh, shit!
Yeah, and he takes a nice little ass whooping in the parking garage, too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing that was weird about that is, like, it took them that long to beat Carlitos' ass.
You think he would go scene one?
Yeah, it should be just a punch and he's out.
Yeah.
But no, they took 5 minutes, and that's when the whole switch happened, which threw me off. I didn't know what the fuck was going on because I saw the lady get up. I'm like, oh, so she's not knocked out. But then it turns out it was the other girl in a wig, and they take the I don't know. And by the way, all this is happening unbeknownst to El Santo. El Santo doesn't know this is going down. Because this was a plan that Mariachi Super Agent put together with that girl, and I guess their plan was we'll switch you and we'll put a transponder or something on the car or on you, and so that way we can track where she is. But the thing didn't work, apparently. Yeah. The transponder couldn't get the signal.
Okay, because that's why I was like, if this was the plan, then how come it didn't work? They were still seemed like they had a hard time trying to find it.
Yeah, because... So, yeah, they did that, and then they put a transponder on it, and then at one point Santo goes over to Mariachi guy in some later scene, and then he's like, hey, so where's the transponder? And Mariachi's like, what are you talking about? And Santo's like, I know who you are. I know you're a secret agent.
And see, this is the moment in time where I'm like, oh, now I see what we've had to Mariachi. Is this guy's actually important? Because that's why I connected that he was the police.
But it comes out of nowhere. It's like, this guy is... Because it threw me off at the beginning when I told us, these reporters know where the kidnapped girl is, and they pull out guns. And I'm like, what kind of journal? I mean, maybe that's the way they do it in Mexico.
I mean, that's the way Hunter S. Thompson did it.
Yeah, fucking shot.
There wasn't even a girl kidnapped. He was just pulling out a gun.
There you go. This is the Mexican Hunter S. Thompson.
That's right. There you go. They should have led with that.
They should have led with that. That's what they should have led with.
Oh, this is backcountry. You're right.
So they put so then Santo's like, yeah, I know who you are. And then it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm a secret agent or whatever. But the transporter's not working. We know it's somewhere in Durango. All right, it's the name of the, I don't know, county or town or whatever. Yeah. And then Santo's like, oh, when I was on my way to my gig with Carlitos, there was a bunch of interference in the car while we were driving through this part of Durango. Right, which is from the beginning, when they're in the car and they're
a lot of road has been told here, like a lot of backstory has already been put on, which will be funny when we get to one part in here. Oh my god, man! So he's like, oh, so I think I know where this might be because we were getting interference on the radio when we were driving through there. So that's how they kind of pinpointed, and I mean, they take a helicopter. Yeah.
It's, I guess, I don't know. They rented a helicopter.
Because they have one.
But yeah, exactly.
To the Santo copter.
So I'm assuming it's for the trailer or something. Like, helicopters. And it's just one scene with a helicopter. So.
Speed car chase. BW Bug.
BW Bug, yeah. And so that's when they find the general area of where the little secret cave layer is, where he's broadcasting and jamming all the signals.
But he has a match before that happens. It's like he takes the helicopter and ends up at a match. Yeah. Am I right? Like he's like getting a booking on the way.
Oh, that's
where the gun comes in.
I forgot about that.
Machine gun deal.
So after the kidnapping is kind of thwarted. Magnus goes on TV and he's like, Santo, you messed with me. I'm gonna kill you. You're gonna die on your next match on whatever the date is. You're gonna die. So the thing is, Santo has that match, So he's like, yeah, I'm not I can't cancel the match. I can't be like, I'm afraid. Even though everybody in Mexico knows he's going to be murdered there. So he's like, nah, I got to do it.
And a lot of people showed up to watch this murder go down.
Yeah, and he's just like, that don't work for me, brother.
Mm-mm.
You know?
And that's when he gets, Magnus somehow contacts the El Asesino del Ring, which is the ring murderer, to tell him, like, hey, I need you to kill Santo in the ring. And apparently this guy's reputation was, like, he'd hurt, like, that's what the announcer said. It's like, this guy, he's hurt several wrestlers in past matches and may have killed one or two. Like, he wasn't really sure.
The guy that he was wrestling?
Yeah,
okay.
El Asesino del Ring.
Okay.
So he's the Mexican Chris Benoit? He's the crippler?
A bit, yeah, I guess.
He's hurt people in the ring and definitely killed a couple people?
I
like
mean,
that's...
one or two. I don't know if they're
right,
family members, but he's killed a couple.
Okay, all right.
So, yep, I mean, it's there. We said it. Been said out loud.
Apparently he was cool. Oh, but here's it. And I meant to look this up. Magnus offered him you kill Santo, I give you 1 million pesos. And I meant to look up what the exchange rate was on that, but I think it's like $5.
Yeah, it's not much of
no.
But he was like, yeah, I'm doing it. So he was like, yeah, and I'm gonna kill. I'll kill him. And then at one point he's like, what if I fail at killing him? He's like, well, then I'm gonna kill you.
Oh no, it's $53,000.
Is it 1 million pesos?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all right.
Still, that's better.
Yeah, I'll kill El Santo for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in 81.
Shit, I've probably done it for like the $500. It's kind of whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Am I getting out? I'm out.
But then Magnus is like, well, if you fail, I'll kill you. And I was like, well, why don't you just kill both of them, man? Why are you delegating this killing of El Santo?
I mean, you already have a hidden machine gun above the ring. Well, you can do that. You can do that.
Yeah, just do that. And, although I guess it was fixed at one point. I mean, like the machine gun was just like could only aim at one, like it couldn't move, it couldn't spray. So unless Santo was in the exact right spot, it wasn't gonna work. He should have set up more. I mean, I think if you can set up one machine gun, you can set up 5.
Yeah, or if you have somebody working with you, you just have that guy grab El Santo, put him in a hold, and be like, hey, make sure you get to El Santo at this spot in the ring, and I'm going to bring the machine gun down and shoot him.
He doesn't seem like for an evil genius.
Yeah, that's smart.
Exactly. So that's what's going down. So that's why El Santo originally can't go to the raid at the cave because he's got his match.
Okay.
So El Mariachi goes over there on his own, but then
and fucks it all up.
Well, I forget what happens because it seems like El Santos shows up pretty soon after his match. Like his match is always all right. I gotta go.
I thought Super Cop Mariachi was at the match in the front row. I think he was at the front row.
Was he?
Yeah, I think he was in the front row cheering on El Santo.
So then they raided the cave afterwards?
Yeah, they raided the cave.
Hey man, before we go to the cave, can we just kind of...
Because Santo was leading the charge because he was snuck up behind that one guy.
Yeah,
he was on rocks.
And gave him the real shitty karate chop.
Yeah, and he also had to hold onto a tree while he did it because he was a little wobbly because, the knees at 63,
And then the other guy was like, pulled the gun on him and he had his hands up. And Super Mariachi Cop put his finger in the barrel and just kind of pulled the gun down.
Yeah. Like Mariachi Cop just shows up and he's like... Because his whole thing is like, I need you got a light for my cigarette or something like that. And like, who the fuck just shows up in the middle of the fucking nowhere?
In a cave.
James Bond.
And that guy was like...
actually did. He showed up to an arms dealer. I'm like, hey, do you got a light? And he went like this, and then bam.
The guy was like, oh yeah, for sure.
So they stole that from El Santo versus El Asesino. All right.
Little did you know that
it's a big influence.
Well, El Mariachi may be a big influence from this movie, for all we know.
Yeah, that's right. El Mariachi is a prequel to this or something.
This guy's father or a related character.
This is a prequel to that, which is a prequel to Desperado.
Or it's like a Jack Ryan situation. Different people have played the role and in different incarnations of versions of it. So. Something along those lines. But yeah, the raid on the cave. And also, too, we should not glaze over the fact that 62, 63-year-old El Santo doing a tope dive in his match and jumping off rocks.
Just the dive from the inside of the ring to the outside.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was impressive. I mean, especially, again, everything is magnified by the fact that he's 63 years old. I didn't realize. I mean, I know he didn't look exactly like cut or anything.
He wasn't 20, but I didn't know he was 60.
And the announcer, I remember several times he was like, El Asesino kept hitting it. I was like, some of these blows could kill a man that wasn't as strong as El Santo. Like, thank God for El Santo.
Yeah, thank God.
So the raid on the cave, the fight happens.
Mm-hmm.
El Santo gets overwhelmed, and then they try to burn him at the stake.
Yes. Yeah. They put him in handcuffs.
Yes.
And they try to burn him at the stake.
Yeah.
And then, what the fuck?
Then, a Swami mentally helps El Santo escape, is what I have in the notes.
Where does that... Did I miss this guy anywhere in the movie?
You did not. That's the thing that's so funny about you talking about all this track that was laid. Like, we were driving through Durango, and this is the spot where we need to go, and then this, and then this, and then, well, we had failed, and that's why we can't be... They did all this work leading up to it, and then all of a sudden they get to the point, like, they were writing the movie, and like, how do we get El Santo out of getting burnt from the stake? I don't know. Let's just have somebody mentally remove the handcuffs.
Maybe that's somebody from a past movie or so?
I don't... Maybe.
Maybe like that's an on-recurring character?
That doesn't help me, though.
No, exactly, yeah. It's standalone.
It's not credited. It just says a Swami who happens to be watching mentally assists El Santo in escaping.
Watching from where?
A television.
Yeah, because
gotcha.
he's live broadcasting this shit. But when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is just a random person that's watching it from home. And then he starts doing the thing with his head. It's like, oh, I guess he's got a headache or something. and then Santo escapes. And I'm like, wait a second. How did... Because originally I just thought, oh, yeah, that dude, the guy on the couch has a headache. And then, I don't know, Santo's so good that he just slipped out of the things. But then, so I rewound it to like see again. And it's like, no, the guy is like mentally helping Santo get out of those things. And like, where the fuck did this guy come from? Like, I didn't know.
This guy's the real hero.
Should the movie be about him? He's done more than El Santo has.
Yes.
Like, where was this guy when everything else was going down? I mean, that's this real superhero.
Watching it on TV and thinking, this keeps up, I'm going to have to step in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that it was broadcast nationwide. Because otherwise
he did.
Santo would have just burnt to death.
Yeah.
Fucking Magnus fucking up again.
Yeah,
man.
You know,
he needs to think these things over. And then at one point, so after that, I guess they finally knock out Magnus and they take off his mask, and the lady says a name, and I don't Jose Perez or whatever. Are we
Mario Lopez.
I would have assumed that it was Mario Lopez. But she just says a name like we're supposed to know who this is. Like, oh my God, it's this person. I'm like, I don't know.
It's Ricardo Montalban.
It's Scooby-Doo.
It's Mr. Carruthers, owner of the old amusement park.
But maybe you just need to. Maybe this is a whole. You got to be more familiar with the whole Santo saga to understand this shit. It's like, oh my God, it's this person. I don't know the fuck that is. And same with that mentalist guy. Is like maybe he's in other movies.
Yeah. That would be the only explanation, but that's crazy. And like, shouldn't like Santo have that guy like attached to his hip
at all times?
You come with me, man.
Like, you couldn't like tell me about the drive-by shooting earlier. Maybe you couldn't tell me that the transponder wasn't gonna work. Well, like, you're gonna get me out a set of handcuffs. Like, we didn't even get to that point.
Maybe the mentalist just can't do headstands, and that's that's his requirement. Like, hey, if you can't do a headstand, you can't hang with El Santo.
Can't be around, bro. You know, loose necks in this motherfucker.
But yeah, I just love how fast he like grabs his head. It looks like he's having convulsion or having a headache, but no, he's just mentally. He loves El Santo so much that the power and gift that he has, he will put it out into the world and save El Santo.
Mm-hmm.
It's too. Well, you said he died. Santo died 3 years after this. I wonder if this is his last movie. Do you know?
I think he's got one more in there.
Then hopefully they bring that guy back.
Yeah, I'm going to find out these movies.
Yeah.
I have to do some digging to figure this out.
Yeah, I don't. It makes me wonder though, like, because the movie is terrible.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like one of those where like, you know, it's an old movie. Do you think people actually thought this was good when it came out? In 1981?
Oh,
or whatever.
It's got 3 5-star reviews on IMDb. I know that much.
Serious?
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand.
Well, people talk fondly of El Santo.
Yeah, I think it's more the El Santo did it again.
I mean, that's the thing about, like, you talk about James Bond movies, but some of them are very hard to watch, especially if you take in consideration the misogyny and some of the racism that's involved. Some of them are kind of hard to watch in that aspect, but there are aspects of it like, why the fuck are they doing this? Like, there are a lot of moments in James Bond history that you just gloss over because, like, I'm a big fan of James Bond.
Yeah,
and I think you kind of do the same thing for Santo movies, is like, oh, I like El Santo, and I can.
So this is good.
Yeah, so this is good, even though none of this shit makes sense.
I wonder if it's one of those where like a lot of people watched it when they were kids and they just have that nostalgia thing. Where
different
it's like,
superhero movie to them.
And like I said, it falls in the qualification of blaxploitation. So it's the idea of it's low budget, it's not as much money. So you can forgive a lot of stuff. It's like watching Evil Dead 1. You can forgive a lot of stuff because, like, oh, they made this for next to no money, much like Switchblade Sisters or any of the Jack Hill movies. You can kind of forgive because, like, oh, they didn't have a lot of money to make these movies. They just went out and made a movie.
Is there anybody that's comparable to El Santo in American wrestling that's like that idolized to that extent?
Well, I mean, Santo was such a big deal that he was buried in his mask and it, like,
really?
locked down traffic. Like it was like a horrible deal. His passing, like people were lining up around the block just to pay respects to him. I don't think anybody's doing that for Hulk Hogan.
No, not anymore.
Yeah, so it was just overwhelming because there was that sense of, because they wore the mask outside of the ring, this larger than life personality. I would think that Ric Flair would have the level, especially if he was, the services were held here in Charlotte and passed away. Like, I would equate his funeral, his passing, and his services, and maybe even have a motorcade comparable to Billy Graham. I don't think that's too far of a stretch. Yeah, I feel like he meant just as much as he did, and I don't know if he would have that overwhelming of a response. Like, I remember the Billy Graham, like, funeral procession, mostly because he had services here, and then he had to be driven an hour to be buried over here. I don't think Ric Flair's going to have a big motorcade like that. Yeah. It's pretty much going to be point A, point B, and short distance in between. But if he was to pass and he was to have services in Charlotte and buried in Charlotte, I would imagine that the overwhelming, feeling of emotion, especially for people in this area, would be immense. Yeah. So that'd be the closest to anything. Yeah,
but it wouldn't be Santo. A nationwide thing. It
wouldn't be a nationwide thing, but that'd be certain circumstances. He may pass away and be buried in Atlanta or Minnesota, where he's from, and that never being a thing.
He may never die.
And he may never die. That may be the other thing, too, that we need to discuss as well.
Part cockroach.
Yeah. So.
But there's definitely never, because I was just thinking, like, even at the beginning of this movie when they're like, oh, there's a crime and it's such a big deal. It's like, oh, we got to call El Santo. Like, there's never been like, oh, this happened. Got to call Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Never been that. It's never been discussed.
It's never been like that. Well,
though we should discuss why it hasn't been discussed.
Although when the Iraq War broke out the first time, Hulk Hogan was called in, especially when Sergeant Slaughter was the Iraqi sympathizer. That's when we had to call on Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan was on pay-per-view talking directly to the troops and said, hey, I'm going to come over and kick Saddam's ass as soon as I'm done kicking Sergeant Slaughter's ass. So,
but it never came to that, right?
It never came to that.
My history is not the best.
No, Hogan's not big on follow-through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Flippantly saying the N-word, he's all about that. But, like, follow-through on promises to help out the troops in their fight against Saddam Hussein, not so much.
Doesn't he have did Hulk have the atomic leg drop?
Yeah, the big leg drop.
He had a big leg drop.
But it's not called the atomic leg drop.
No, you're thinking of like the atomic drop.
Atomic drop. Yeah. Okay, and that's the one that
hurts your butthole.
Oh, no.
Well, it's supposed to hurt the spine, as I've been told recently.
It hurts your butt.
It's
butt thing.
Your butt spine?
Yeah, your butt spine.
Your Cossacks, if you will.
Okay.
one more thing to talk about this movie that I don't think we should glaze over. I mean, we are almost done talking about it, but I would be remiss if we didn't talk about the very end where they just shove Carlitos in a trunk
and like magic him out of existence.
Exactly.
And that's the end of the movie.
It's the end of the movie is like, I'm gonna throw my BFF in a trunk and make him disappear.
It turns into smoke.
After you've had this whole movie about trying to save somebody from a kidnapping, you make somebody disappear.
You kidnap a person.
You're no different than Magnus, Santo.
Send them off to the terrestrial plane.
I mean, what I'm thinking is like that would have never happened when Carlitos was abrasive.
No.
I've never stood for that. Abrasive Carlitos would be like, hell no, I'm not getting in that.
Not getting in this.
That's what happens, you know. You pussy him
Like,
out.
there's like a big ongoing thing where they always try to put him in a box, and then he's like, I'm going to be less abrasive this show. Put me in that box.
All right, finally.
And then he dies.
And then he disappears,
gone.
never seen before. I mean, never seen again. Unless that mentalist guy sees him and just brings him back.
Brings him back.
Yeah.
Maybe he was the one doing the trick.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe he was there. Maybe that guy. Well, no, I was gonna say maybe that guy was El Santo all along, but it could have been two places at the same time. Although who knows?
I mean, he's got telepathy powers. Maybe he has, that
Well,
ability.
he has the power of jump cuts. I think it's possible as well.
Do whatever he wants.
Did his son make movies too?
Julio Del Santo? I would imagine he's done one or two, but I don't think it was as successful.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was when I was living in South America, I was too young for the original Santo, but his son, Hijo del Santo, was the big thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he ever reached like the mythical heights that his father did, but he did reach a considerable amount of popularity. Also, too, I don't think he was as well liked.
Oh, was it?
Amongst wrestlers. I think there's a little bit of that going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I've heard some other people talk about like Julio Del Santo, like fuck him. You know?
Well, I mean, I don't know much about their history, but I imagine he grew up with privilege. I mean, he's the son of El Santo, whereas El Santo is just the son of some dude.
Yeah,
A plumber,
So-
whatever the
Yeah.
Spanish word for plumber is.
Yeah, so he probably was more humble.
yeah. So, but also too at the same,
Plumbero.
Plumbero.
at the same time too, he probably had a responsibility. You know, so he's like, I have to be really good, and I also have to make sure that I don't let my father down, especially if I'm going to call myself the son of El Santo.
Yeah, he could have just gone with another name.
That also too, like in Mexican wrestling, if you are going to be call yourself the son of so and so, like the fathers are very protective. Like I've built this reputation, and you will not let me down. That's why sometimes, like before they ever get that mantle of them being the son, they have them wrestle under a different character, make sure that they're going to be good, and then hand that over to them.
Rey Mysterio is doing that currently. He talked about it at that convention we just did.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing it with what?
His son.
His son?
Yeah.
He's not willing to put the Rey Mysterio title on him until he's good enough and he's earned it. And...
So what would he be like, the son of Rey Mysterio, or what?
I don't know.
In the long run, I mean, that's the kind of the goal, but I think he was like, his son's name was going to be like Sunfire or something, like similar, some weird name until he...
Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yeah, that's what I would call it. Like, you're going to be Rey Mysterio Jr.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio the third.
I mean, that's, I guess.
Los Tres.
Mm-hmm.
I know if I ever have a kid and he starts doing stand-up, he's going to be El Hijo del Carlos Valencia. Whether he wants it or not.
And he's going to wear my old fedoras.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I just want to call you that at an open mic next time.
That's my do it. It's better than fucking Carlos Mencia. Every time Jack introduces me, it's always Carlos Mencia. Both times. Like, the first time I thought he was just messing with me. The second time, just like, I don't know if he even realized that he's calling me Carlos.
Do you think that every Mexican comedian is Carlos Mencia?
Yeah. All these Mexicans.
I think he feels like it gets funnier every time.
It might be.
One day it's going to land.
Yeah. Like, fuck you guys. That was funny.
One day this is going to hit, and it's going to be great.
Anything else we have to say about this movie?
Well, I thought it was kind of weird where at the very end, and again, this is hard to follow, but the newspaper editor, he's all mad because he's getting scooped with all the stories, but then the reporter chick comes in and she's like, I got everything because, I was infiltrated their lair, I got kidnapped and all that, and then when I got, but you got to pay me for this, and he was like, all right, I'll pay you. And then the other guy, Mariachi Super Agent, he's like, yeah, and by the way, I'm not trailing her anymore. She's too wild. I can't control her.
Can't handle it.
Can't handle her.
But
and
she is beautiful, and I'll try my best.
Yeah, I mean, she's very beautiful, so I can't give up on her. And then they just start making out.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we're out of here. We gotta go fuck. We gotta get our
We gotta
fuck
go
on.
make some hee-hoes.
Like, I didn't see that coming at all. They're just like, I thought they were a professional relationship, but nope. They was like, nah, we're fucking DTF.
Professional dicking.
Yeah, no shit. So good for Super Agent, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And thank God all these women were beautiful. We wouldn't have had a movie.
It would be nothing to
like,
say.
I'm about to, like, if Magnus like, I'm gonna kidnap this old hag. Like, yeah, go ahead.
I'm on every channel. I bet you're not.
Yeah.
Yes, thank God.
Thank God for beautiful women.
Yeah.
Anything else we have to say about this movie before we move on?
So right after the last scene of them laughing over the smoke in the box, it popped up words? Was that anything?
It popped.
Like it just popped up like it sounded. Look, it just had words there. I didn't know if it was like a. This is what happened after.
El Santo will be back in Octopussy?
Is something like that. Like something that did. Like okay, I didn't know if that was more. It might have just been like the
I
credits.
just saw the word fin, which means the end.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was just exhilarated.
Thank God.
So I was just too excited that the movie was
Didn't
over
read anything
to
else.
read anything else. Yeah. But no.
The end. The Swami was a part of this the entire time. Once it ties it all
If you want to know
together.
what happened to Carlitos, stay tuned.
Anything else?
And we did it.
I think we did it.
We got through it.
So, but anyways, you guys want to get a live microphone in front of you? We'll let people know. You got any shows coming up, Carlos? Let people know. I know you have an album out now.
It's out now digitally on iTunes and wherever you get stuff. But also just today, I got the actual CDs, the actual physical copies. So if anybody wants to get one signed, you can get it through my website, carlosvcomedy.com.
And what would be the best way to search for it on iTunes? Name the album and such.
Well, you can just search for Carlos Valencia, although that's going to show up me and a Christian mariachi singer.
See, also a secret agent.
Probably. Priest, yeah. And a journalist. Mm-hmm. He's the Hunter S. Thompson of
the Christian.
Of the Christian mariachi.
That is a far better reference. Why did I go with Jay Tapper?
Yeah.
So, so you can look at it. So hopefully you can tell me apart from the mariachi. And the album is called A Temporary Solution to a Permanent Problem. And then I also have another one. My previous It Gets Worse is also. They're both available on iTunes.
I'll put it in the notes.
Right on.
So if anybody you can go right to the show notes and we'll put it right in there.
Sweet.
Zane.
When is this coming out?
Not this Thursday,
week,
but the next Thursday.
I'll have PWF in Hubert, North Carolina on September 7th, followed by a double shot with Queens of Combat on September 8th in Charlotte, North Carolina, I believe so.
Yep, it is. At least I hope so, or else I'm not going to make it there.
Yeah, we're there. And then we'll, I think that's kind of about it for now. We'll go see a couple concerts.
What do you have September 7th?
We have a show in Jacksonville, North Carolina, basically, a place called Hubert.
And is that a Friday?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in Charlotte. I have a show in Charlotte. So
if you want to overshine me...
No. I was like, it's not in Jacksonville, fortunately.
No, it's not.
I got stories from... That's where there's like a Marine base there.
Yeah. Fort... Lejeune, Camp Lejeune.
Yeah, I got a show there once and blacked out and woke up sore the next day and didn't even know why. It was these Marines fucking manhandled me.
They took care of you.
They took
real
care
good.
of my spine butthole.
You got your caucus real good. Sucked all sorts of caucus.
But yeah, I have a show at the Factory Comedy Room September 7th here in Charlotte. So you can, go
if you can't make my show 5 hours away, please see Carlos's show.
Thank you.
In town.
Actually, on September 7th, I'll be doing a comedy festival at a campground somewhere. So I don't know a whole lot of information about that, and I've been messing up the name of that. But more information about everything I'm going to be doing at Man Scout Manning on Twitter and Instagram. That's also where you can get up with me to get your free T-shirt. Like I said, when you leave a review on iTunes and Stitcher, I will mail you a free t-shirt, but you're going to have to DM me on Twitter or Instagram your address and shirt size. If you can't do that, just email me at manscoutmanning@yahoo.com. Make sure you log on to the website, howdidthisgetbooked.com, if you want to buy a t-shirt and you don't want to write a review and fuck us.
Sucker.
Yeah, I'll take your money. I don't care, but I also have my own personal merch there. Also information about upcoming shows on How Did This Get Booked. Also, to make sure you subscribe on iTunes. Don't just leave a review. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and download and all that stuff. Do it on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, SoundCloud, and wherever podcasts are available. This has been another edition of How Did This Get Booked?
Woo.